Senator Rennick. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Hi, Minister. How are you going?
G'day, Senator.
Look, I just wanted to follow up on that Victorian government's report over the weekend, the fact that up to 70% of agricultural land would have to be used for wind farms or solar farms in order to get to net zero. How on earth could you possibly say that renewables are good for the environment when 70% of agricultural land would have to be used for these concrete?
For starters, I thought Senator Canavan said it was in the order of 50-odd% rather than 70%.
That's if it's not.
Depending on offshore, depending if they get offshore.
Yeah, how much of it's onshore and offshore? I mean, we can talk about
the offshore proposals are being rejected by your government.
Yeah, I did notice those comments from Mr Littleproud saying that we should have, rather than have renewables on farms, we should have them offshore. So I'm not quite sure what the National Party's position is on offshore renewables. But again, Senator Rennick, it might be better if we answer those questions in outcome one when we have more of the officials involved. But we do, I absolutely agree that in rolling out more renewables, we need to consider the interests of landholders much better than is currently protected under law. That's why we commissioned the review by Andrew Dyer, why Minister Bowen commissioned that review. That's why Minister Bowen said he would implement those recommendations.
But Mr Dyer himself has come from the renewable industry.
Well, I actually don't know about that. I know what I do know about Mr Dyer was that he was initially appointed by the former coalition government to the role of, I think it was Wind Farm Commissioner.
Yes.
So his role has transformed or broadened to be the Energy Infrastructure Commissioner. I actually don't know what his background is.
Yeah, it just concerns me because that particular inquiry didn't really have people from the private sector or the agricultural sector to provide some balance. So I feel like it's going to be a bit
he consulted extremely widely. I actually arranged for him to meet with at least, well, the offer was certainly made to at least two coalition senators to meet with Mr Dyer so that they could understand the work that he was doing and have their say.
Is he based in Canberra?
Mr Dyer?
Yeah.
I don't know where he's actually based, but he certainly is in Canberra a lot.
Right.
He and Senator Canavan's acknowledged that some of those coalition senators did meet with Mr Dyer at my request. But I mean, I think we do need to recognise that I acknowledge that there are farmers who don't want renewables on their land and feel that proponents of renewable energy have too much say, and that's why we've done the review. What I haven't heard anyone from the coalition acknowledge is that there are actually farmers who support having renewables on their land and support the new income streams.
That's not the question I asked. Yeah, and that's right. They are getting income streams. That's not the question I asked. Is it good for the environment? Because I'm well aware of what's going out in southwest Queensland with the mulga and locking up all the mulga. Now you are going to get, these farms are being locked up. You're destroying the ground cover, which also absorbs a lot of carbon. Okay, you're going to bring in wild pests.
I'm doing this. You're saying you're locking up this land. You're saying I'm doing this?
Well, a part of the net zero strategy is somehow you're going to do carbon capture out by letting trees grow, which are already growing out there anyway. We're basically paying farmers to do something that's happening as it is. Right, but that's going to have a long-term detrimental impact. No, it's going to have a long-term detrimental impact on the shires because farmers are leaving the shires. The paddocks are going to get locked up, so there's a risk of fire. There's a risk of pests. So there's dingoes, goats, wild cats, and wild pigs in particular as well, that are going to actually take over those blocks because they're not being managed. Right, so that's not good for the environment. Or you can take Moonee, where they're proposing to put in up to potentially 700 cubic metres of liquid CO2, into the Great Artesian Basin. Yet again, why are we doing this? It seems to me that the regions are basically wearing all the impact here, and the environment itself, for the sake of on the altar of renewables and net zero.
I guess it depends how you look at it, Senator Rennick. You say the regions are wearing the pain, or exactly whatever the words you used were. Yeah. I would argue that the regions stand to gain more than anywhere else from the renewable rollout because of the jobs that will be created as a result of renewables, because of the new income streams that farmers and others will gain. I think that's pretty good for the regions.
That's a one-off, the job creation. And can I say, it's only a handful of farmers, so there'll be winners and losers here, because you're on a farm next to if you have a farm next to the wind farm, you lose because you pick up the noise.
Well, no, there are many
not.
farmers. There are many farmers who, under various different state regimes, also receive an income payment because they neighbour land that has renewable infrastructure on them.
That's right, and all of that extra cost will be transferred into higher energy prices. Okay.
Well,
that's going to basically ruin any chance we have of restoring manufacturing after the Button Plan of '85 that destroyed manufacturing in this country. So, if we want to get back on our feet as a country, we need cheaper energy, and all of these subsidies. Okay, farmers need to be focused on primary production, not on artificial forms of energy that are basically only surviving due to heavy subsidies.
Well, I'm not going to tell you. Might want to tell farmers that they shouldn't generate income streams from renewables. So that's not my position.
Well, that's up to them.
Yeah,
but
it is.
The point
That's
is,
exactly
it's not
right.
good. It's not good for the environment if we're going to have 70% of agricultural land, as this report over the weekend has said, in basically covered in wind farms or solar farms. I mean, that's not good for the environment. I mean, I thought the whole point of net zero was to save the environment, and yet it looks like we're going to trash it in order to save it. Well, I'll leave it as a comment.
Senator Rennick, I think your career in the Senate has demonstrated very clearly...
Don't start making personal reflections.
No. I think your career in the Senate has demonstrated that you don't accept the silence of climate change, that you don't support renewables. I know there's other senators like Senator Canavan who share those views, and you are always going to oppose these measures. We obviously disagree on that. Our government...
I support the environment and protecting the environment, protecting jobs. Okay, and 70% of agricultural land being covered in wind farms and solar panels is not good for the environment.
Authorised G. Rennick, LNP Chermside.